I just keep performing certain duties without expecting any reward in return for them. I do not have any desire for any kind of reward from it. I am doing it just because I have to do it. That is all. If I am praised for doing this, I smile, and if I am criticized for doing this, I just smile again. That is it. Did I do what I had to do? If you just keep doing what you have to do with a sense of duty and dedication, and if you do not expect any reward for it at all, if you can accept whatever the outcome may be, you thought that if you did this work, it would happen like this, but the result came out differently. Now, even if the result comes out differently like that, can you remain without feeling sad? I thought that I have shared the Bhagavad Gita. I have shared a few good words, so I am happy about it. I thought, but suppose you tell me that you felt very disgusted because of what I spoke to you. What I need to think about is whether I said exactly what Lord Krishna said with complete purity of thought, word and deed or not. Did I speak only about the Vedas that I believe in or not? Did I speak only about the scriptures that were ordained by God or not? I spoke, I have faith. Let's say you praise me. That praise belongs to the scriptures. I do not feel elated by it at all. Suppose you criticize me saying that I should not have spoken like this, that I should have stayed silent. Oh God, may these people also develop an interest in the scriptures. I do not feel dejected because of that. I am someone who spoke about the scriptures. When I speak, whatever is spoken, it is just the scripture coming out through me. That is all. Now, whether it is respect or disrespect, why should I care? Now, before giving all these speeches, did you put a garland on me or on the mic? After the speech is over and I am coming down, I am leaving. Are you standing up seeing me, or are you standing up just because this mic falls down? The mic has no honor, no insult, no victory and no defeat. If there is any respect or disrespect because of what was spoken, it is only for me. Whether I speak about the Bhagavad Gita, it speaks loudly, or if I say something else, it still speaks just as loudly. If there is an object that does not know how to speak in any other way than loudly, that is exactly what is called a microphone. It simply goes about doing its duty. Similarly, if I can do my duty without expecting any benefit, that equanimity is called yoga. Know that this is what yoga is. However, I need to mention one important thing to you right here. How is this possible, sir? How should we put this into practice? When we are trying to make this practical for ourselves, how can we bring it about? How can we maintain this kind of focus? To know how to stand firm and overcome the obstacles to that, the teacher of the Gita has also shown us the path to follow. Where that path is and how carefully we must turn that key in the lock. How to turn it so we can stay firm in the power of performing actions without expecting any results for ourselves. How it has flowed as a Vedic word, as the Gita, as poetry and as the Puranas. Since there is not enough time today, I will not mention that particular topic right now, but I will try to mention it to you tomorrow. Though you will have to keep one thing in mind here. When listening to something like the Bhagavad Gita, if you break it up like this, a problem arises. The answer you get when you listen to it in one flow is different. If it is broken into pieces, when you come and sit again tomorrow, unless you recall where I left off with a question, you will not be able to connect to what I am saying as the answer. But I am telling you one thing. If there is anything like attaining salvation in life, if there is anything like knowing the truth in life according to the scriptures, you will have to understand the teachings of the Gita. You will have to know the Gita Shastra. It is a scripture told as it is, without any likes or dislikes. That is why the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads, it is an Upanishad. So tomorrow I will take a look back at where I left off and try to explain the path that Lord Krishna is showing us, and then I will conclude my speeches with tomorrow evening's talk. Today, after my speech, I think a girl named Lalita Sinduri from Rajamandri, she has arrived and she will perform a Kuchipudi dance here. Let us all sit nicely like this and support her. If we all watch happily, she will be delighted too. Secondly, tomorrow is the grand festival of Sri Rama Navami. On the occasion of the great festival of Sri Rama Navami, Subba Rao Garu has taken up a very noble task. That is what I said. Doing what needs to be done at the right time and place is dharma. That is why it starts at 7:30 tomorrow morning. You must definitely watch the Setarama Kalyanam. Watch the Setarama Kalyanam and partake in the Panakam, Vadapappu and the Prasadam. Lord Rama was born on Navami, but we do not celebrate Rama's birth on Navami. We perform the wedding of Sita and Rama. The entire secret behind performing Sita and Rama's wedding on Navami is hidden right there. So, to witness the grand wedding ceremony of Sita and Rama tomorrow, if you all reach the venue by 7:30, we can all watch the wedding of Sita and Rama together. Do you know the greatness of the names of Sita and Rama? Do you know the greatness of their names? Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi, both of them take avatars to establish dharma. Vishnu takes an avatar as the supreme being. Avatar means to descend. Tara means up. And avatara means down. If one comes down, it is an avatar. In such avatars, whenever Lakshmi and Narayana come down, after the avatar ends, we call them Lakshmi Narayana again. Even if you do not understand them standing before you as Lakshmi Narasimha, we say they are Lakshmi Narayana. If it is the Matsya avatar, we say Lakshmi Narayana. For Vamana, we say Lakshmi Narayana. Patana wrote that even though he was a bachelor, footprints of goddess Lakshmi were seen on his feet. So we call it the Lakshmi Narayana temple. Do you know the only incarnation not called Lakshmi Narayana? It is only Sita and Rama. We do not call Sita and Rama as Lakshmi Narayana, we call them Sita and Rama. Because actually Sita and Rama taught us how to live in a household. It is an incarnation that came to teach us how to live. When such a great wedding is taking place, it is a great misfortune to not be able to see the Sita Rama wedding on Sri Rama Navami. Usually it is done everywhere after the sun comes up. Subba Rao Garu's courtesy is that if it is done while it is cool, everyone can come, sit comfortably, watch in the cool breeze and leave. So he scheduled it for 7:30 in the morning. If we come to this premises by 7 o'clock tomorrow, we can all sit in the full assembly and watch the Sita Rama wedding beautifully. Tomorrow, he has arranged for Lakshmi Pujas to be performed by all the married women every afternoon. The very form that was worshipped as Goddess Lakshmi will be given as prasad to all those married women tomorrow. They performed Lakshmi Puja for a collection of gold coins worth 11,000 rupees. These coins, which have been worshipped as the form of Lakshmi for all these days, since they are the forms of Lakshmi, we usually bring back that coin as Kubera's prasad from Badari. Similarly, tomorrow, coins will be gifted as prasad to all the married women who perform those pujas. What a beautiful tradition. Tomorrow also marks the conclusion of the festivities. When the festivities conclude, the most wonderful thing is the food donation. Why is food donated? Because all living beings find peace through it. That is why a mantra is needed for a homam, but not for an offering. By offering, do not think of killing. They just go and place the food like that. When placed, even birds and crows eat it. Actually, birds should not enter a temple. Because birds and such come, the Mahakumbhabhishekam is performed once every 3 years. But a sacrificial offering is made. It is placed so that birds come and eat it. Sacrifice means that living beings should directly eat it. If everyone eats and says, "Oh, what a wonderful meal we had," then the Lord will be pleased. Therefore, the festivities taking place here are concluding on Sri Rama Navami. So, tomorrow afternoon, he thought with such a pure heart that truly the Lord has not made it a habit for me to tell lies or speak all those crazy nonsense things. That is why, because I speak so bluntly, I am unable to get close to some people in life. I just do not know how to speak any other way. I am only used to saying what I believe in. Even this afternoon while I was talking to my wife, both of us were discussing Subbara Yudu and we said one thing. What a simple man, what a humble soul, a great person. I was actually stunned by how he acquired such humility. He thought with so much respect that if women and men both come for a meal during the peak heat of the day, if we look at it, they might suffer. Poor things. With all the bumping into each other, and a woman sitting next to a man, I wonder if they can even eat their fill. Worried about any discomfort, out of 2 wedding halls, one entire hall was for women, the forms of Kamakshi, and the other hall was for men, the forms of Vishwanatha and Ekambrashwara. This arrangement came from his desire that everyone should eat to their heart's content without any hesitation or trouble. Serving food separately to men and women in 2 different halls. He is so eager to cook and serve food for thousands of people that tomorrow that great soul is getting a massive amount of food prepared. What should we do to make him happy? Just come and eat. I am not just saying this. I am requesting you because tomorrow is a special occasion. It might not be possible for me to come and eat, but I will definitely come tomorrow afternoon to where the men are being served. Sit with everyone. And I will also take some prasadam before I go. Because dharma is not just for talking, it's for practicing. I am not just saying this to praise Subba Rao Garu, but if he is such a great man and his work is so noble, why do you not go and take the prasadam? I will also come tomorrow and sit in the same line with all of you. And I will take a little bit of prasadam and go. I might have some constraints in my Vedic rituals to take it as food, but I will definitely take some form of prasadam before I leave. Especially on Sri Ramanavami, when such grand celebrations are being completed, they are organizing such a massive food donation. So, it is not just food donation, it is actually Narayana Seva. It is for all of us to be redeemed, to satisfy all beings, as we are all part of God's family. Matacha Parvati Devi, Pita Devo Maheshwara, Bandhava Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho, Bhuvanatrayam. Mother is Parvati, father is Paramashiva. Since we are all his children, we are all brothers and sisters. So come tomorrow and accept the prasadam gracefully. But I have one request. While eating the prasadam, since it is Sri Rama Navami, please try to follow just one rule. For God to be pleased and for the work to be perfectly complete, do you know how satisfying it is for those serving if you wait until everything is served? If we serve everything at once, they get anxious. Like if someone quickly eats a papadam as soon as it is served, you will not know if he was served one or not. Then you have to bring the papadams back again. Wait until it is all served, then phew! We have served everything to everyone. We served the dal, the curry and the chutney. Looking at their leaves, we should not just say, start eating, go ahead. That is not polite, right? That is why they say, at the start of the meal, chant the name of Govinda. When we say Govinda, we all eat together. That is a sign of respect, a sense of satisfaction. Look at a mother when she serves food. Suppose she is serving 6 children sitting together and she serves some fried crisps. If the eldest one eats them immediately, she will ask, hey, did I serve you the crisps? He will say, you did, but I already ate them, mom. She will say, cannot you wait until I finish serving? No one serves like a mother. Even such a mother would say, hey, do not just eat like that, wait. So, I will follow the etiquette properly tomorrow. By following that etiquette, Subba Rao Garu should be blessed. The Kovada premises should be blessed. If a single person, despite not being in good health, resolves to organize such a grand festival, and if there is no sincerity in his resolve, would God even favor it? Someone as great as Shobha Naidu said something yesterday. In the accommodation where she was staying, when they played the CD for that dance program related to Sai Baba, it got stuck. It is a huge risk. When such a great artist is dancing, if the cassette gets stuck for whatever reason, just think how disrespectful it is. Everything just stops. You have to abruptly turn it off and reset all that recording equipment before it works again. Suppose there is a major electrical disruption somewhere and it is not restored, we rely on the transformer. What use are all the systems we have set up if something happens to the transformer? By the grace of God, without even a single minor hitch, the Palanquin procession at high noon was a bold feat. When he resolves to do such programs, just think about how much sincerity must be in his resolve for such a grand event to happen. The only thing he wanted was for all of us to come and eat our fill before leaving. Tomorrow this whole canopy will be filled with the wedding of Sita and Rama, echoing with the name of Rama. In the afternoon, if we all go there hungry, chant the name of God, eat our fill and then leave, Subba Rao Garu will be very happy. he will feel a lot of enthusiasm to organize such programs again. The more such enthusiastic programs happen, the more a path is created for Sanatana Dharma to flourish. If each of us is a flower, we become a garland for the Lord. So we must do our duty. Therefore, we must do it. Someone told me something a long time ago. When I went to a place, a husband and wife also came along with me for lectures in Visakhapatnam. The owner of that house kept saying, my sister was so good, my sister helped so much, my sister cooked this curry and her husband had also come with me. After listening to this again and again, I said, sir, it seems your wife did so much for you, even coming all the way from Kakinada. But did you not do anything after coming here? I asked. He replied, what do you mean I did nothing? I am doing my duty, I am eating what she serves, right? I felt it was true. It is a very big thing, eating what is served is a duty. Eating when you are told to eat makes sense. Because if you stay stubborn, the food will just go bad. And tomorrow is the final day, right? The finale should be filled with joy and happiness. And that radiance should show on everyone's faces. That joy must be expressed. Oh man. Who knows when we will see these tents and such an event again. All this bustle, this bliss, all these sounds, all these noises, all these dances and all this music, we will all be completely mesmerized. Standing there right beside Baba. And we will have to pray, oh Lord, please make Sabba Rao Garu do many more such programs soon and give him the strength to do so before we leave. So, by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. See, I do not even need to ask you to clap. If people are satisfied, they will just do it themselves. So, if you all could just nicely arrive by 7 a.m. in the morning, we will start the program with the Sitarama Kalyanam. And so, Lalita Sindhuri's program is about to begin now, the dance performance. I hope I will be forgiven for taking up a little too much of your time today. Subba Rao, please announce these things once, because Koteswara Rao Garu asked me to, I have announced them. Peace be with you.
Hari Om, greetings to this assembly, the embodiment of the Supreme Lord. Yesterday, while discussing the Bhagavad Gita, I touched upon a verse and left it there. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya asiddhyoho samobhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So says Lord Krishna. While speaking, he gave a definition for the word yoga, saying samatvam yoga uchyate. Equanimity is called yoga. And also, yoga means being able to perform your actions with great skill. Also, anena yujate iti yogaha. The process in knowledge where many things seen separately merge into one. All these are called yoga. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, it is said. I mentioned this to you yesterday. Yogastha kuru karmani. Kuru karmani means you must do your work, but it does not mean just any work. You must do the work that is prescribed by the Vedas, and only if you do it exactly as the Vedas say will you attain purity of mind. Yogastha kuru karmani. When does that work become yoga? It is when there is yoga karmasu kaushalam. The reason for using the word kaushalam is that a disciple goes to his guru's place after a sacred thread ceremony. After going there, the very first thing that the guru teaches the disciple is the proper way to cut the darbha grass. Because in the old days, when the disciple lived and studied in the guru's ashram for many years, there were two things that were absolutely necessary for his daily fire rituals and other forms of worship. One is the cow and the other is the darbha grass. Nothing works without these two. So the disciple must bring the darbha grass. While bringing this grass, just because the guru asked him to bring it, he should not be careless. He should not just cut and bring everything, like the ones that are irregular, useful or useless. There is a certain skill involved in that cutting process. And what exactly is that skill? You have to leave the waste behind and cut it in a way that leaves the budding part so it can grow back up again. If for any reason it is torn, has a hole in it, or is withered, then you should not cut it anymore, because it is not needed. You should only take as much as is necessary for your purpose, and nothing more than that. Do not touch what you do not need. In our Vedanta, in our Sanatana Dharma, there is a word called aparigraha. What the word aparigraha actually means is, God fills this entire world as a place of enjoyment through the word sarva. That is why Lord Shiva and the goddess are named Sharva and Sharvani. In Vishnu Sahasranama, Vishnu is named Sharva. Both of them have that name, Sharva. The meaning of the name Sharva is this: suppose you go and scatter a handful of seeds on this earth. From every single grain, a sprout emerges, and that sprout produces an ear of grain, giving you back as many seeds as you originally sowed in the first place. You might be able to sow a grain of rice in the soil, but to make that grain sprout and grow into a plant, to make that plant produce an ear, and to ensure that ear is filled with grain, no one in this world has the power to do that, no matter how hard they try. Whether it is bringing forth wealth from the 5 elements of nature, or increasing or decreasing the 5 elements themselves, it has never been possible for anyone, and it never will be. You cannot increase the earth by a single inch, nor can you decrease the earth by a single inch. If the wind decides that it is going to blow with an extraordinary speed and force, you might have to carry out the reconstruction process after the damage is already done. But when a gale blows at 120 kilometers per hour, you cannot stop a power pole from falling over, no matter what. Even the radar systems that we have set up for ourselves are bound to collapse. That is the direction of the Lord, and that is exactly how His divine decree works. So if you were to ask how much petrol He has kept in this earth, no one can really say. They never think that if they find this well, they have found that well. So many people, crores of people who were born, they used crores of cars, they spent lakhs of liters of petrol, they left the earth and they are all gone. But Ishwaru just keeps filling it up like that. He kept it deep underground. The most surprising thing for you is a word in Sanskrit called bhavati. Bhavati means to stand, to be. The existence of a substance is called bhavati. For it to remain exactly as it is, if Ishwara's grace is missing for even a single second, one will fall. Annamacharya says, "Oh dear friend of life who turns without ever stopping, if the speed of inhaling increases or the speed of exhaling decreases, if the breath that went in does not come out or the breath that came out does not go in, it is a sign that he is dying or has already died." Where does death reside? Vedanta says there is nothing closer to us than that. My wife might be at home, my son is in Hyderabad, my daughter is in America, but my death is extremely close to me. It is right on my nose. If it goes in and does not come out, it is over. If it goes out and does not go in, it is over. So, the divine power that can drive such a process exists only as long as His grace remains. And it will last for however long He chooses to bless us. Whatever we call pleasure or happiness is all due to God's grace. In the Uttarakanda of the Ramayana, sage Valmiki says something very profound. Do you know where the word happiness actually comes from? Vayuk prana sukham vayuhu, he says. The true meaning of the word happiness is simply the air we breathe. No matter how many sweets you have at home, no matter how much wealth you have, or how high a position you hold in your career, no matter how much power you have or how handsome you are, if you cannot breathe, what is the use of all those things to Him? Nothing. An AC. Maybe someone sitting in an AC theater is happy, or someone sleeping in an AC bedroom sleeps happily. How can someone in an AC intensive care unit be happy? It might be an AC room, but what is so great about being in an intensive care unit? He went in there once he could breathe. But where is the comfort for him? Even if it is cool, there is no comfort. Vayu is life, Vayu is bliss. Actually, if you can just breathe, if the air goes in and comes out properly, that is what bliss is, says sage Valmiki. That breath itself is bliss, really. If the breath goes in and comes out right, that is enough for happiness. Once a Prime Minister said, suffering from a cold for 7 days is like being dead for 7 days. And I am not lying. Suffering from a cold for even an hour is so hard because the biggest pain in it is not being able to breathe. That is why sage Valmiki says, Vayu is life. Vayu is bliss. He has placed so many places of enjoyment here. From the waterfalls you see with your eyes to the flowers that bloom beautifully. Some flowers that bloom in the evenings of these months of Chaitra and Vaishakha. In our Arshadharma, these two have a special status, and they both come during the spring season. Chaitra is called Madhumasa and Vaishakha is called Madhava Masa. In these 2 months, two special things are available. One is the mango fruit and the other is the jasmine flower. Just as the fragrance of a jasmine flower is so wonderful, and just as the juice of a mango is so sweet, Shankara Bhagavat Pada, who possessed such a fragrant and sweet speech, it is surprising that Ramachandra Murthy, who had such great speech and conduct, was also born in these 2 months. Actually, all great men in this world were born in the months of Chaitra and Vaishakha. That is why they are called Madhumasamu and Madhava Masamu, as seasons in nature. As day and night, as sleep, as rhythm, as short-term rhythm, as hunger, and as the satisfaction of eating, as all these things externally. If a car is to be made, all the iron needed must come from the earth. The petrol needed for that car to run must come from the earth. Whatever pleasures you think you are enjoying, all those pleasures also come from the earth. That is why he is called Sharva. Ishvara keeps giving everything needed for all pleasures from that earth. When this is given, a certain phrase is used in Sanatana Dharma. Aparigraha. Aparigraha means that you should not take more than what you actually need. That is a rule that everyone must follow for themselves. Because a person who does not enjoy what they need is someone who is only deceiving themselves. Someone who lives on less than they need, thinking they will save it for future generations, lives with selfishness and fails to make themselves happy. And someone who uses more than they need has betrayed future generations. In this world, what should belong to our successors, this person needlessly uses up just because it is available. They have wasted the wealth that comes from the earth. And that is why Sanatana Dharma says we must have aparigraha. You do not have the right to take or store anything beyond what you strictly need. Live only with what is necessary. The strange thing is, this teaching about aparigraha only needs to be told to humans. The Vedas say there are 84 lakh species of living beings. Among them, 83,99,999 living beings practice non-possession on their own, naturally. Suppose its stomach is full, a bird will not eat anymore. Suppose the stomach is full, a dog will not eat anymore. If she has babies, she will nurse them and care for them. Once those babies learn how to eat on their own, they are left alone. There are no banks for dogs or cats for their children. But the irony is that only a human being tries to save not just for himself, but for several generations to come. Scripture does not say not to save. It did say to save. But the Veda also spoke about how much to save. So do not go to extremes and ruin your life. The meaning of the phrase yoga karmasu kaushalam is that you understand the essence of the Veda, and when you perform action, the method of being able to do it with that skill and expertise, with mastery. Skill means cutting only as much kusha grass as needed. Kusha is darbha. But if you uproot the darbha from its very base, how will it ever grow back? If you cut some and leave the rest, the tips of the darbha are what matter. Based on which direction the tips of the darbha are placed, we know what ritual you are doing. If the tips are placed facing south, it is a sign that an ancestral ritual is being performed. If the tips face east, it means he is worshipping God. So the tip must be there. Why do you need the root? Therefore, we should not ruin anything. We have not been given the right to destroy anything in this world. Even Hanuman, after bringing the massive Sanjeevani mountain, could have just thrown it in the sea, thinking who would go back north? But he took the Sanjeevani mountain back and firmly re-established it in the Himalayas before returning. Even in that great war, aparigraha means performing action only to the extent necessary to achieve the purpose and nothing more. Do not perform actions without a reason, and do not take things from nature that you do not really need for yourself. Secondly, you mentioned that karmasu kaushalam means performing actions with great skill, right? Speaking of doing things with skill, when lectures were being held at the Ayappa Swami temple, I remember whenever I gave lectures for 42 days, Gopalakrishna Garu would often make an announcement to the crowd. He would say, someone's chain was stolen by thieves while they were going home. So everyone, please be careful on your way back. Or maybe someone's bicycle parked in the street was stolen. Recently, while I was narrating the Mahabharata, a bank officer had the chest keys stolen from his scooter trunk while he was away. Now, when so many people come to listen to the Mahabharata, some even sit on the two-wheelers parked outside to listen. But one guy comes because it does not matter to him if what is inside is useful or not. As they say, even a strand of hair is a prize for a thief. Was it his? That is why he opened the trunk and took the stuff inside. But you should observe very carefully how I do things. Just as carefully as I do my job, or as carefully as I speak during my discourses and lectures, just as carefully as I eat my meals, or as carefully as I do my exercises every single day, stealing is the one thing in this world you have to do even more carefully than all that. Because if I say, look, I did my job really well for 20 years, I just made a mistake on one file, they might just give me a memo saying, however, your explanation has been considered carefully and it is found that you are negligent while discharging your duties. Still a lenient view is taken, the memo is dropped for this time. However, you are cautioned to be more careful in future, and they will just let me go. But suppose a thief gets caught. If he says, sir, I have done 12,374 thefts perfectly so far, and I only got caught this once, will they forgive him? They will never forgive him. In fact, all those previous skillful thefts will now lead to a much bigger punishment. If someone says, I have committed many murders very well, but I got caught only at this one, that is not a reason to forgive him. It becomes a reason to punish him even more severely. Lord Krishna said, yoga is skill in action. Meaning you should do your work with great skill, right? So if I say I stole with great skill, or I committed a murder with great skill, does that also count as skill in action? That is why in the very next verse he said, perform your duty, O Dhananjaya, abandoning all attachment to the work you do. You cannot just do whatever you want and then say, I did it very skillfully. Some people who come to see me say, we went to Tirumala for a darshan. Koteswara Rao Garu, we were coming out like this for 50 rupees. And while people were going in, they made the outgoing people stand for a while because some vessels of prasad were being moved. Among those 200 or 300 people, the guards did not notice me. So I slowly crawled under the rope and joined the people going back into the temple. Like that, I went into the Ananda Nilayam 3 or 4 times. I managed to get 4 darshans in a single day, he says. Now, is that cleverness? Was that a very well done visit? Are you a culprit in the eyes of God? You are a culprit. Why visit God like that? Why do such sneaky visits? You should not go like that. You should see God the way you are meant to see Him. That is why they say to visit through the royal gate. You should not visit in any other way. If you do not have that chance, or if you feel like seeing Him again, Vimana Venkataswara is there to be seen. You must see from the outside, but should not force your way back into the inner sanctum. If you cannot even see Vimana Venkataswara, come out and look at the Vimana. That is enough. The Anandanilaya Vimana is visible from anywhere. If you look at the Anandanilaya Vimana once and offer your prayers, it is as if you have visited Lord Venkataswara. If you cannot even see the Vimana, then just visit the outer wall, bow to the wall, and it is as if you have visited God. If you cannot even see the wall, just look at the priest as he passes by, and it is as if you have visited God. Do not think I am lying. I am speaking this from the Agamas. The temple is divided into 8 parts. If we divide it, the 8 forms of Ishvara in the temple are the enclosure, the flagstaff, the tower, and the dome. The inner main deity, the surrounding deities, and the priest. All of them together are considered the temple, not just one part. The temple is not just the main idol. If it were, the dome and the idol within it would not have a place in the agamas. So, yoga is skill in action, means you should only do what the Vedas have commanded you to do. Otherwise, even if you perform a forbidden act with great skill, it is still wrong. What you have done will only bring you sin, not merit, and it will not lead to any mental purity at all. There is no chance of you attaining mental purity. That action is of no use to you. In fact, that action will bind you. You must always remember one thing very carefully. If you are just sitting there and I bring a rope and wrap it around you like this, what have I done? I have bound you. Now, if I move the rope like this, what did I do? I have released you. Turn the rope twice. Even if you turn the rope twice, if you turn it in one direction the first time, it is a bond. Turn it the other way the second time, and it is a release. You should not just turn the rope for the sake of turning it. When you are turning the rope, you should know which way leads to release and which way leads to bondage. Saying I just did some karma will not work. Saying I did not know will not work either. That is why in the Sundarakanda, Mother Sita says something to Ravana. Iha santo navasanti satovan anuvartase tatahi viparitata buddhi achara varjita. She asked him, hey, are not there any good people in this city of Lanka? Does not anyone tell you that this is how it should be done? Even if they told you, would not you listen? Do not you know? Will not you practice what you know? Where did the fault lie? That is why they say that you should recite the Sundarakanda. A person who only does what their own mind tells them to do will fall deeper into bondage. Even if they keep doing so much, in the end, there will be no benefit at all. It is like I told you. Keep multiplying these numbers and I will give you the final amount of money at the end. Suppose I wrote 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 6 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 8 or 9 different pieces of paper. That is a lot of numbers. Oh my God, he will give me so much money. So 2 multiplied by 1 is 2, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, 6 multiplied by 4 is 24, 24 multiplied by 5 is 120. You keep calculating like this with excitement. But if there is a multiplied by 0 at the very end, what will you get? Even if you calculate and get 12 crore multiplied by 0 at the end is equal to 0. Without skill in action, that is it. That is why the Bhagavad Gita is an Upanishad. It is for those who have faith and want to purify their own minds. It is for those who accept the scriptures as authority and want to achieve the ultimate purpose of their life. It is raining outside, so for a while here they have put up a tent. Let's go inside and listen to whatever he is saying and then leave. The Bhagavad Gita is not for such people. Who is the Bhagavad Gita for? It is for, Upanishads say at the end of each chapter, that for one who wants to be liberated and understand the true purpose of human life, and who sits and listens with complete faith in the Guru, the scriptures and the Lord, it is useful only for them, not for those who just want to listen for fun. The Bhagavad Gita is not for such people. To whom does the Bhagavad Gita give results? The Bhagavad Gita can give results only to those who are ready to practice it with absolute faith. So, yoga karmasu kaushalam. The one who performs action with skill is the one who is truly established in yoga. So, being in yoga does not mean you give it all sorts of new names and think it becomes yoga. If you observe a bit carefully, you will see, I will tell you one thing. Just notice, there is a word called collector in this world. Now, whatever you add in front of that word collector, it is not greater than the word collector itself. Suppose I say joint collector, he is not greater than the collector. Suppose I say deputy collector, he is not greater than the collector. Suppose I say ticket collector, he is not greater than the collector. Even if you do not add anything before or after the word collector, just saying collector is enough. He is the district collector. The collector is coming, you see. It means if there is nothing before it, no one is greater than him. But if you add something before, he is lesser than the collector. The name might grow, like joint collector has 2 words, but he is not greater than the collector. The joint collector is not. The collector is the great one.
Similarly, you will understand the word yoga only if you understand it as yoga. But if you bring that yoga forward and start learning by attaching all sorts of new things to it, it is hard to say if you will truly attain yoga in the end. Because it is not about who told you, it is directly Ishvara standing as the Jagat Guru is telling this. That is why Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. The greatness of the Bhagavad Gita is that Lord Krishna spoke it from the position of the Jagat Guru. So, right now, at this very moment, it does not even matter whether you are in India or not. You could be in America, Australia, New Zealand, or even Singapore. You could be in Kakinada or in Kovada. Whoever fully grasps the essence of what is said in the Bhagavad Gita with their heart is a disciple of the Jagat Guru. Even if someone is in Kaledi, the very place where Shankaracharya was born, and lives with faith in the Bhagavad Gita, if you ask me if Shankaracharya is their Guru, they never will be. Not everyone sitting right next to the Guru is a disciple. The term Guru applies only to the one who has that focus. He is the Guru for that person. If there is no focus, he just stays by his side all the time. There is no rule in this world that such a person by his side must become a disciple. The word disciple means someone who has chosen a Guru, and who is a Guru? He is the weight. Do not think I am speaking wrongly. Weight means that which is before it is less than it. It is less. Because there is weight, what is before it has more weight. Guru means heavy and disciple means light, the one who is less. If you believe that he knows much more than me, he knows the scriptures. I must learn from him and I must follow what he says. If you believe and follow, the Guru will be so strange for you that the people around me, those who are close to me, those I recognize by name, those who come to my house every day. I have many people who call me their Guru. Whether I am a Guru or not is another matter, but I must think they have faith in me. But the strange thing in this world is that there are disciples who do not even know who has such great devotion. Yesterday, just before I started for this lecture, Mother, I have come from Hyderabad 3 or 4 times now. We will just see the Guru once and leave. I will not speak, ma'am, because he has to leave for this assembly right now. I do not want to be an obstacle to him at all. I will just bow down once, touch his feet in respect and then leave. That is all. My wife said, since he is pleading so much, we should not say no, so please sit down. I finished my evening prayers and came back. Both of them are from NIMS. He is a very renowned cardiologist and his wife is also a doctor there. Both of them came from NIMS. And that boy's mother also became a doctor. The 3 of them came yesterday. That boy said just one thing. That girl and the others said the same thing. That they used to be restless about one thing or another in the past. But after listening to the CDS of your lectures, we realized that if we just keep doing our duty, there is a God who gives the results. If He did not give us what we wanted, it means there is a benefit in not getting it. Since He gave it, there is a benefit in receiving what was given. Ever since we started believing this, we have been living very peacefully, Guruji. Both of them are such renowned doctors. When they were talking about the essence of my lectures like that, I was the one who said I would just greet and leave, that I could not talk, but I ended up speaking for 10 minutes, staying there. Coming out, I told the gentleman that I had to give 10 minutes to 2 doctors. For that reason, I am about 5 minutes late in starting. Right, sir? I am a bit late. I did not know those 2 were there, but wherever they are, I do not know. Those who accepted me as a teacher, meaning those who placed their trust in me, and their burden, they are students because they wanted to learn from someone they knew. But just being by my side and just sitting there, listening to everything I say and thinking, oh, it is just a habit of his. He talks like that every evening. He'll be happy if we listen. If they say that, that is not the quality of a true student at all. Maybe they are just a listener, but that is not discipleship. That is why many people might call me their teacher. True disciples are very few and far between. They are the ones who are truly focused on their Guru. They catch the words coming from the Guru's mouth just like a cowherd carefully catches every single drop of milk while milking a cow, without letting even one drop fall to the ground, and then distributes it to 10 people so they can all gain health. In that same way, they catch it. They catch the words from the Guru's mouth with such care and bring them into their daily practice. The one who does that, he is a true disciple. But if you say, why do we care what he says? We just asked him to speak for a bit and he did. Why do we need all that? Then he is not a guru and you are not a disciple. Otherwise, in this world, well, look at how people call anyone a guru. They even call the guy who pumps air into bicycle tires, hey guru, pump some air. In that situation, there is not much difference between that guru and this guru. I am speaking the truth. Calling out, hey guru, pump some air into the cycle is just like that. If you are not fit to follow the words the guru said, then calling him a guru is just a title. What respect are you really giving him? Why would his words be of any use to you? If something is useful and it changes your life, then it brings great joy. That is exactly why I often hate one thing. When people say, Koteswara Rao Garu, we could not come to your lecture, please do not mind, it really irritates me. If you do not come, what is it to me? The Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna alone, no one else was needed. If even one Sabba Rao sits there, he will just tell the Bhagavad Gita and leave. I came because he is worthy and invited me. Besides, you are all highly worthy and that is why you are listening. There is no doubt about that. But anyone who says they will only give a spiritual discourse, if there are this many people, is a fool. To how many people was the Aditya Harayam given? To how many was the Bhagavad Gita told? To how many was the Bhagavatam told? Sukha told it to just one person, Parikshit. To how many people did Narada Maharshi teach the Ramayana, the concise Ramayana? To just one person, Valmiki. There is no greater folly in this world than wanting thousands of people to be at a spiritual gathering. Just one worthy disciple who listens with deep longing is enough. Maybe I should speak for him, wherever he is in this assembly. Someone who listens like that, who has the authority, who changes their life, might be somewhere. That is why. Even if you are not quite sure whether the people right in front of you are paying attention or if they are distracted, you just have to speak with the care that there is at least one person in the audience who is actually listening to you. The speaker must speak with that much focus and the listener must listen with that much focus. If this focus is missing, what is said is useless. That is why the great Mahatma Sai Baba, after saying everything that needed to be said, kept focus aside. Sa shraddha katita siddhihi yaya vastu palabhyate. You must realize that no matter how many things you do that Sai Baba did not ask for, he will not be happy with you. And if you give twisted interpretations to the things Sai Baba actually said should be practiced and then ignore them, he will despise that very much. You must realize this. That is why Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhi Avadharana. He said, Sa Shraddha Katita Siddhi Iya Vastu Palabhyate. From the Shankara Bhashya. Shankaracharya interpreted the word Shraddha in this way. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya. What the scripture says is the truth. I might not follow it myself, but what the scripture says is the truth. The Veda says that one born as a Brahmin, wearing the sacred thread, performing Sandhya Vandanam and Gayatri, must also perform Agnihotra. I am not performing Agnihotra. Just because I am not doing it, I should not say that the Veda says it is okay even if you do not do it. What the Veda said is the truth. Agnihotra must be done, but I am not doing it. I am a sinner. I am not doing it. If I say that, at least it is an atonement for the sin I am committing. Oh Lord, Sunday with your grace, after I retire, if the Lord gives me the strength, or if circumstances become favorable before that, and I say that the Almighty should bless me with the fortune of performing Agnihotra every day, then I am someone who believes in the scriptures. But if I think about how many things told by the scriptures we can set aside, that is not faith. Faith is the firm belief in the truth of the scriptures and the Guru's words. Where did Sai Baba ever say to set aside the scriptures if you set aside faith? When faith and patience are by his side, how can you say he rejected the scriptures? As long as the word faith is there, you must hold on to the scriptures. So whatever object is available, only then you will get something. That is, yoga is skill in action. That is what Lord Krishna is saying. Whichever Guru speaks, they speak the scriptures.
You must remember well that no guru will ever tell you to take a shortcut when they speak. Any guru will only tell you to follow the scriptures. A person who says, oh, it is okay, just leave the scriptures aside, cannot bring any benefit to the world. It will cause trouble. Why? Because I just told you, yoga is skill in action. Turn it this way, they tie it. Turn it that way, they untie it. If you do not explain the tying and the turning of that hand correctly, he will go deeper and deeper and deeper into bondage. No matter how much you multiply, if there is a zero at the end, it will just result in zero. To be careful so that does not happen, yoga is skill in action. I committed a theft very skillfully is of no use. I have told lies very skillfully in my life. No one could ever tell that I was lying. No, that is not it. Can you stand by your word? If you worked hard for it, that is what I call skill. I was just mentioning the same thing to the gentleman while coming here in the car. For one person to have such resolve and do such a task, we are doing it from the crack of dawn. What a great soul. How hard the gentleman has worked. How much he thought, how much pain he felt. After giving my word to such a person that I would come for a whole week, after going for a week and saying what I could say, whew, what a relief. If he worked this hard, I could do him a favor. As promised, I went and spoke for an hour or maybe half an hour. I spoke about the science I believe in and came back. This satisfaction is enough for me, sir. I could do the favor he asked of me for such a hard-working person. That is enough. You have to work hard to keep your word. You do not need much effort to break your word. Just one word is enough for me to tell a lie and walk away. It is not like I have to come for these 8 days of lectures. By evening, the body feels a bit warm, sir. The doctor said not to go anywhere in the evenings for a while, especially not into the open air, Subbarayulu, he said. So I have to take some tablets and all. Please forgive me this time. If I say that, will you drag me by the neck and bring me here? They do not come. But once I promise to come, and once my photo is printed on an invitation card, then it becomes my absolute duty to keep that promise. Now, if my body truly did not allow it and I simply could not make it, that would be a different matter. But lying cleverly is not greatness. Working hard to show up with skill is what is truly great. For that, you should put your hand on your heart, and if there is anything at all you should be happy about, it is only that one thing. After this is over, I will go home and say a prayer to the Lord. I always tell my master, Master, thank goodness I have checked it off my list. I always say that by God's grace, He gave me the fortune to keep the word I gave to everyone. Giving your word is easy, sir. Saying, I will come for a week is easy. But the effort it takes to actually come for a week is no small thing at all. If office ends at 5:30, running home, doing prayers, changing into a dhoti, coming here, sitting on stage and speaking philosophy for an hour, it means waking up at the crack of dawn. If you wake up at 4, by the time evening comes and the body is exhausted, then again, instead of just saying something and leaving, to speak with the determination and enthusiasm to speak correctly and then go, we cannot keep our word without God's grace. The real tribute to the Lord for that is saying, thank goodness, O Lord, it is done. You made me keep my word, and that is enough for me. What more could I possibly want? I do not need anything else in life. As long as I have breath, if I am lucky enough to go wherever I give my word and make it come true, that is enough. I do not need anything else. Yoga is skill in action. Please, do not think I am praising myself. I am just telling you how difficult it is to keep one's word. You can perform an action in any way, and God will not stop you. Do you know why? He gives you intellect, lets you be, and watches as a witness. Whether to change this body or to merge it without needing a body, He looks for skill in that. He watches how honestly he stands, with what purity of thought, word and deed he stands, and with what courage he stands by the scriptures. Will he surrender or will he stand firm by the scriptures? That is what God keeps watching. So, you must remember that doing what should not be done is not skill. That is why, more than what you are doing, the scriptures give importance to how you are doing it. They do not give importance to how much you earned, but to how you earned it. Do you know why? I should not mention names. They earn as much as they want, but then
If their daughter becomes a widow and returns home without even having a single child, or if their son suddenly gets a head injury, loses his mind and has to be kept in a room where they just open the door, push in some food and lock it, while the boy throws that food against the walls, just like that. And if the boy gets to a state where a doctor has to go in and give him a sedative injection just to hold him, if the daughter's life ends up like this and those earned millions become completely useless, I have seen people in this world who spend their entire lives crying and suffering. Even if one only worked as a school teacher, but truly believed in their knowledge with pure intent and sincerity, working hard and following the scriptures exactly as taught, he would go to the stream at the end of the street, bathe, perform his prayers, and then teach what he knew to others with a pure heart and soul. These were children born to those who lived their lives bound by honor and their word. If they rose to great heights and lived a life of immense fame and reputation, just as the bodies of great national leaders are cremated, when their bodies were burned on sandalwood logs brought by their disciples, on the day such a teacher passed away, people cried for a week without eating in their homes. I have seen the lives of such great men too. The reason I am telling you this is, Sri Bhashyam Appalacharya Swami was a householder. Once, while I was driving towards Visakhapatnam in a car, I was talking about Appalacharya Swami. While I was talking, the person traveling with me in the car asked, "What is so great about him?" I said to myself, no, not like this. This man needs to understand what his greatness is. I will tell you what his greatness is, I will make you understand. Wait, since we are going on the highway anyway, I turned into that side lane. There was a small shop selling bananas and coconuts, and a woman was selling them there. Standing there as if buying some bananas, I asked for the bananas she suggested. "Mother, I heard there is someone named Sri Bhashyam Appalacharya here. They say his house is somewhere around here. Do you know anything?" I asked. That girl looked at me in a very strange way, as if surprised. "Sri Bhashyam Appalacharya, does someone like that stay here?" "Oh, are you asking if he stays here? Anyone in this town can tell you where Sri Bhashyam Appalacharya's house is. He's a great soul, sir," she said. "Who? A woman selling bananas. That is what life is." I said, "I am taking these bananas to him," though I knew by then that he had already left his body. She said, "If you take bananas, he is not there to eat them now. Did you never see Palachari Swami when he was around?" she asked. I just wanted to see what she would say, so I told her, "Ma'am, we have never seen this place. Someone told us about it recently, so we came to take a look. But it is a shame he is not here." She said, "What kind of a person are you? You say you have lived in Kakinada for so long and you do not know Appalacharya Swami? What a waste of a life. Do you know how great a soul he was and how he found salvation by spreading the Ramayana? When he left his mortal body, his house is right here, just 4 lanes away. The day he passed away, people were standing in line all the way to here. They felt his body should not be burned with ordinary wood. So everyone brought sandalwood from their homes and cremated him with that. That is what a life should be. He was a truly great man," she said. Fearing she might scold me more if I said anything else, I said, "Ma'am, I know he is worthy of being remembered every morning. I just asked because I wanted to hear how much even an ordinary woman like you respects his greatness. That is all, ma'am. I know him," I said. She was very happy. Now, the reason I am sharing this with all of you is, it is not about how much you have earned, but how you have earned it that really matters. It is not about what you have experienced, but how you have experienced it that is really important. A person who has enjoyed pleasures against the path of dharma might have enjoyed them, but what is there to gain from that? Just look at the Ramayana. Lord Rama suffered many hardships for the sake of dharma. Ravana was the path of adharma.